Hello, it's Nicole and Dave, and I feel like I should start introducing Nancy because
Yes, everyone wants
my
to know.
Nana is always in the shot, and people are always commenting and writing to me about her, and she's got her own little thing going.
It would have
This
been
is
funny, Nicole,
perfectly.
if you just denied that you don't even own a cat. I don't own a cat.
What are you
You know,
talking
but that
about?
cat, yeah,
I
that
don't
cat,
see it.
you're the only one that doesn't know there's a cat in your house. But
Yeah,
yeah, that cat's always jumping around throughout the show.
I don't know who it belongs to. Well, this is perfectly twisted. Go ahead and hit that like button because we like that a lot. Like, um, so how's it going? How's everything, Dave?
Everything's good. I like this time of year. I know for people who aren't in Southern California, the June gloom, like when does it burn off? When does it start to feel like summer? But I kind of like it that it feels like summertime. And summertime always was a situation was my best childhood memories were always in the summer with my friends. And, yeah, you get up early at times, sometimes you sleep in, but we did the Magic Mountains, the Disneylands, the
Yeah.
going to the beach. It was just, those are the memories when you still see those people as an adult. You feel like, there's a reason why I like this person because we share the same great moments together. And I don't know, this is
Yeah.
where it all started in June.
Yeah, summer's a fun time. It can be a fun time. My daughter's school lets out a little early, so it's gloomy for quite a while in the beginning of summer. So that's always kind of a downer. But it's that haze is burning off. It's been quite hot the past few days, so um, no excuses for that. But I got to tell you, I got to send a message out there. I had a really rough day yesterday. I had to go get my sixth treatment, and I was already like battling like the anxiety to go get it because
Yeah.
my fifth treatment really hit me hard. I'll save all the gruesome details, but um, I I had a hard time with it, and I woke up
Sure.
yesterday, and my friend who when we moved to this area, God, it's been like 10 years now. Her and I had a lot of mutual friends, and she was in the same scenario. We're living on the same street. She was also a full-time single mom. Our girls go to the same school. Her daughter's just 1 grade older than mine, and so we reconnected, and all of us felt so connected because of that. And she was diagnosed 2 years ago, and yesterday, I woke up to the message that she lost her battle yesterday. She passed. And, it's like why I die inside is for the girl, for the daughter who now is living in an entirely different city. Luckily, she had family to go live with, but everything changed. She'll start a brand new high school, not knowing anybody. She is, her mom, who's the only person she's known and lived with, is gone. And so I had to tell Keegan. And I mean, the tears and just the pain, like it's that unfathomable pain. It's our worst nightmare. And
Yeah.
I just, for survival purposes, I really had to remind Keegan, but it's not our journey. That's not our journey. And everybody's is so different. And as painful as that is, we have to turn that around and like really look for the gratitude today. Really focus going forward on the gratitude. And it got me in that chair yesterday. I'm telling you, because it just I'm here to still fight,
Yes.
and I get to go get another treatment, and I get to spend time with my child. So we really had to turn that around. And first half of the day was anxiety and tears and just deep pain. And the rest of the day was just enjoying going. We made a thing of grocery shopping to stock up because I'll be down for, a good 7 days. So we just went around to different stores and grabbed all the good snacks and all the good fruit and just really were like trying to be thankful and grateful that we got to do that. So remember, when things are super, super bad and things hurt really bad, you get bad news like that. You got to look for why you can be grateful today and pull out of that, because that's what those people would want you to do as well. Nobody wants you to, dwell in the misery and the sadness. You gotta turn it around and say, wow, that could be me. That's not me. And I'm grateful.
You
So
know,
I'm
you know
very
what? I
grateful.
got to tell you, I love what you said to your daughter because I knew as soon as you started telling the story and going what direction you were going in, that you were going to tell your daughter. Of course, it makes sense to say, "What if I'm that girl next?" And you fixed it right away. Like you let her know that's not our journey. And, people ask me all the time, what's Nicole like? And I say, you know what? There's that glass half empty people, the glass half full people, and then there's the glass overflowing people. And you're the glass overflowing people. And I love the way that you reassured your daughter that, hey, that's not our journey. I think that was really important.
It is really important. Well, when you see that pain on their face, that's the hardest thing about being a parent is that when they're hurt, you hurt so much more, right?
Yeah,
So you do everything you can to diffuse that. Brings out another side of like, wait, okay, I just broke this news. How do I fix it? And I had to tell her, like, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna beat this. That we're different in this, but this is why we have so much to be grateful for today. So
exactly.
I hope everybody can look around and feel a little grateful today. That's my
Exactly right.
mission.
There you
But
go.
we have a fantastic guest today. One of the Baywatch beauties of all time. We are wrapping up the documentary right now, so this is all very sentimental for me, and I'm so proud of it that it's almost done. But I'm also really sad because I don't spent the last 4 years of my life doing this. So, but I'm really looking forward to it. And this beauty was a part of the documentary, and she did a wonderful job and brought a lot to the table. So let me introduce Miss Gena Lee Nolin. Holst, do I put the Holst? It's Gena Lee Nolin Holst, right? I never know because everyone's Gena Lee Nolin, got all the names.
Just Gena. That works.
I'm just Gena.
I respond to Gena. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
I was just listening to what you were saying, and you're absolutely right, Dave, she's a glass half. I don't know what overflowing.
I said she's overflowing. She's overflowing. Forget the half full. She's overflowing.
No, it's overflowing. I mean, you are, Nicole. You just, I just about started crying just listening to what, what you had to do with your daughter, and and explaining that to her, and making sure that she felt safe, and that, it's scary, but this is our journey, and that's not. That's somebody else's journey, and we're gonna fight this, and we're gonna win. And I love that.
Well, I'll tell you, this whole thing has been so horrifying. It's really the most horrifying thing. I hope like it is the worst thing I've ever had to go through. So it's really sort of this like you're in it, right? Like it's fight or flight, and the only way to fight is to look for all the good. And that's it's the only thing that keeps me going. So
yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. Thank you, because I don't always feel like that, but I have to bring it back to that. It's a conscious effort. I mean, it's definitely something I have to wake up and remind myself every day.
Yeah,
get your head on straight. So, well, let's talk about something better.
Yeah,
let's talk about something.
I'm here
more
to
fun.
talk about whatever, anything.
Let's talk about something more fun. So Gena and I didn't actually work on the show together, unfortunately, but we did the Baywatch Hawaii movie together. So that's where Gena and I first got to know each other. And I wanted to ask you a question because I'm always so curious about this. So the producers from Baywatch, our show, the creators, they always have different stories, and and I know a lot of stories are just, they don't pan out to be true.
Right. Embellished.
I know stories they tell about me, and I'm like, but that's simply just not true. That's physically not true. That's not.
You were so anxious to act that we had to hypnotize you.
So, okay. Yeah. So I had a question because they were saying that, later on the show, when they used to choreograph fights between the actresses for the paparazzi purpose to stir up tabloid stories and to get press. Did you ever see any of that happening? I'm just so curious. I'm like, I gotta find somebody who can validate that. So all the time.
Okay, so they said that they would cause this fight just for the paps, right?
Yeah.
That never happened to me. And that's something I would never do. I was just too normal. I mean, I just didn't, I was so, I ultra focused on what I had to do. And that's probably where, I mean, the first year I was nervous, really nervous, because I had never done anything like that. I'd never seen a script. I didn't know how to break down a script. I'd circle Neely throughout the whole. I didn't even read it. Like, that's pretty awful. But anyway, I would just and I'd practice my lines. And when I got to set, I knew what I was doing, and I was always early. That's the one thing. I was always on time, the exception of today. So, but yeah, no, I got along with everyone on set. When I would hear little skerfuffles when we were doing Hawaii, the movie, I brought Spencer, you brought Dylan, and that was a great time. But I remember, gosh, now I'm like having brain fog because there's so much to it. I mean, I had genuinely so much fun getting along with everyone, meeting the Hawaiian crew, and the like Brandy Roderick and all the other actresses that went on to do the Hawaii. But it was just, to me, we're here. We are so lucky. We are so blessed to be on the show. And not only that, to be invited to do this movie. I mean, I think there was something going on in the makeup trailer. Like, somebody was kind of like, I want that makeup artist. No, and I was just like, I was a vet. You and I were like the vets of, coming in going, what the hell is your problem? And it's true. It's like, we are so lucky to be here. Like, there's nothing to balk at. Take your makeup artist, take your hair, take whoever's available, and get on set and do your thing. So I remember that, but I think I was just ready to blow at that time because I was able to sort of speak what I had felt all along. And I always felt so blessed to be part of something so iconic. And I knew it was special at the time. Even being in it, sometimes when you're in things, you don't see how big it is. But I had, because I had one foot out watching hard copy when I was on The Price is Right. And I was seeing all this press about this show, Baywatch. And, so I knew that part of it, but it was just, we are so lucky, especially you creating such a great character with the original, girls and, Warlock and Eleniak. And I mean, just so many great actors.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, because there's story about these fights on the beach on Will Rogers for paparazzi attention. I thought, okay, in theory, that sounds feasible.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great idea. Okay, sounds like it could have happened. And then I'm like, can you imagine being on the sand and not in front of the camera and fighting with like another actress? And how do you not laugh or like, I don't know how that actually plays out in reality. Like, that would be such a weird request, especially in those times, because reality TV wasn't a thing. So that kind of like wasn't norm. And I always just thought, I want to find one of these actresses that you say.
Right. Like, who are these people? I do know. I knew that when I worked with Pam, and that was with Tommy Lee. That was at, season 6, where it was literally mayhem. It was crazy. And when she'd work, we knew there would be 200 paparazzis. So there were times when you kind of like, I kind of look kind of cute. I think I might pop out of my trailer in my robe, because you knew that there would just be. But I got along really well with Pam. So actually, my first day on set, she was the one actress, or the one person that came up to me and welcomed me to the show. And I was like, she didn't have any makeup on, and she was just very normal, and it was, so it was a different experience. And then they kind of pit this like fight, for the show and to get more press, and it worked, so I went along with it, but I never did anything for the paparazzi. And I know for a fact she would never have gone for that.
No. No. It's so weird.
No.
Okay, so you're saying like on the show.
Hey, Tommy, we're gonna do a fake fight with Gena.
Yeah. I know. I know.
You
There's
betcha.
just some of their stories, like they tell one about me that they say like in the middle of an episode, I got a boob job, a boob augmentation, and I'm like, okay,
That happened to me.
what
But
did they said that about you?
no, they didn't say it, but it it happened.
Okay, so for me, it didn't happen. How does explain to me how that happens? Because I'm like, I'm pretty positive I was in bed for quite a while covering. I
Not
was not
me.
back on the beach right away. I took a little like break. I did it like when there was time off. So I'm unsure how this is in the middle of an episode, and if it's because you had a pickup or something, or you shot something and then edited it back into that episode. That's the only way
Right.
that can happen because physically this is not possible.
Right. Mine was during the Alaska wedding where
Okay.
Hasselhoff and I get married, and I have a baby in storyline, which I had just had my baby. And after nursing him, it was like,
Yeah.
like, like, and then I went, "Ooh," it was gone. I mean, I had nothing. So I, on a Friday, made my appointment, um, and I was back to work fighting a bear where the bear was chasing me, and you didn't do Alaska.
No.
Okay. It was crazy. So anyway, Monday I was back on set.
Oh,
I don't know how I did it, but I did it.
so you had the surgery over the weekend and
Yeah, on
you were back.
Friday, back on Monday. Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
then didn't seem a difference because you had been nursing, so they were there, and then there was a slow deflate, and then you pumped them back
Yeah,
up.
I mean, yeah, and they weren't, were like I came back and they were like that. I mean, very,
Subtle.
subtle. Yeah. But
Yeah.
I look back at that, I'm like, I was 25, so probably makes sense that I healed up so quickly, and I was, in adrenaline. You have to do it. The show goes on, and there I was.
Yeah.
No one
That's
complained.
amazing. No.
I didn't get any complaints.
Nope.
So,
Of course not. No. Yes, I always find their stories funny when they tell these stories. And
oh yeah, there's
yeah.
a plethora. I think Greg Bonin wrote a book. Um,
Yeah.
and I know Michael, is it Doug and Michael who are writing another book? I think
I
they
don't
are.
know. I know that Doug is writing a book, but it's more about his journey with his vision loss.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
At least that's what he told me when I spoke to him recently.
Mhm.
Sort of his whole his whole journey, his whole life, not just
Mhm.
about Baywatch, but who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot written in some of those books that I found. Yeah, I mean, true. There was a lot of truth to it. I mean, Greg's book was fairly spot on when it came to me. I mean, I can't speak for anyone else, but yeah, there is a time where not a lot, no one really knows this, but after the first season, I had enough. I literally, I mean, I went from The Price is Right showing microwave ovens and new cars, and I didn't have to talk. I was just smiling and loads of makeup on, and I loved the girls I worked with. It was simple, and it was a delight. Great set, great energy, and then suddenly I auditioned for the show that I knew of. I get the part. I have to figure this whole thing out. I didn't work with an acting coach. I didn't know who to work with. So after the first year, it was intense because I blew up fast. I think that with the UK and the US press, when those two combine at that time in life, like everything exploded.
Yeah.
And I had people in my bushes, following me on hikes, especially when I got pregnant. So the first year, I just said, this isn't for me. I always wanted to be a hairstylist. And I'm like, I already have like money down on my school, Vidal, in Santa Monica, And I came in a meeting with all of them and I said, I'm done. And they looked around thinking, is she for real? Like, is this just, she wants a money grab? What does she want? And I'm like, I want to be let out of my contract, like today. And they couldn't believe that. They looked around at each other and then they realized I was serious. And I think it was Michael Burke who said, well, we're not going to let you out of your contract. So we have to work around this issue. And I know quite the guy that will help you. And I said, okay, well, who's going to help? A psychiatrist, like to make me want to do this. And he goes, I have a hypnotist friend of mine.
How did that go? Tell us.
I just snorted. I looking back, I was like, it was like one of those, like, is this for real? Like, are there cameras somewhere? Like, what the hell? And he said, no, seriously, I have a hypnotist that I'd like you to see. So I was like, you guys aren't letting me out of my contract. No, your character's popular. We're going to keep you right where you are. We're here to help. I'm like, all right, so who's this guy? I went to see him and the damn guy hypnotized me. He hypnotized. I mean, it was like what you see, like the little gem going back and forth. I'm like, okay, I love acting. I want to act. I want to come back. And I did. I mean, I was like, you know,
So
I mean,
it worked.
I didn't have a choice. So it was either, you know, do your thing or get off the pot. So I did, and I went on to do four seasons, and it was great. It was a great experience.
You must have brought up some.
Oh, Nelly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
You guys, can you still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, there you are. You're back. Sorry.
Okay. I did the same thing. I was on the show for the first, my first season, and I was like, this is not, for me, it wasn't the being on set. For me, it was what was happening in the tabloids. It's what was happening with casting directors not opening the same doors anymore because of this attached stigma of Baywatch. I wanted out, and they were like, no, it's the #1 show in the world, and you are part of it. So,
yeah.
And I also kind of had a responsibility because I don't know if you're aware of this, but Charles in Charge, they came to my producer, Al Burton, from Charles in Charge, who had hired me to do a first run syndication, to bring back a failing show from a network to do syndication, and they wanted his formula. So he helped them, and that's how I became part of the show. That's why it's the same wardrobe, same makeup, hair from Charles. We all kind of moved over the Pam correlation, all of it. Was from Charles in Charge. So they were like, no, you were part of this. And they were like, how about this? Do another season. And then, if you still want out, we'll talk about it. And the second season, I wanted out. And it just was so weird because there were so many NDAs. I've never been on a set where I had to sign so many NDAs right off the bat. And it just set me in such a weird, it just put a weird mood. Like, it was a weird way to start a show, signing NDAs about how much you make. And you have to say your favored nations. You have to say this. You have to with the NDAs. And I was like, this is so shady. Like this.
Yeah.
It just, when things rub you wrong, you feel like, what am I getting into?
Yeah.
And then there was the whole thing with these producers. I don't know. I think you were part of this too, right? Where the entire cast had to sue these producers. I think they've been sued a couple times because they were selling our likeness overseas.
Oh yeah.
And then telling us there was nothing, and then send us on like promo tours overseas, and we're like, we're on every cereal box, we're on suntan oil, there's toys, there's beach towels, everywhere you went there was our likeness.
Air fresheners.
Air fresheners.
I saw myself on an air freshener. I'm like, what the? Like, I'm dangling in somebody's car. Serious. And I'm like, I was just like, yeah. And I was on an LA map. Like this is a place to be. Yeah. I don't know if the can was over, and I'm like, it was like, yeah, I called it to their attention. And I know Alexander Paul, who's such an amazing human being, by the way,
Yeah.
she rallied and she really went to town with Fremantle and some other people as far as our likeliness and just, being fair about it. It was Pam, me, and Yasmin on this T-shirt that was quite popular. It was in Target. It was everywhere. And so, yeah, I mean, we got paid. We finally got paid.
Finally, same, but I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
think it was nearly what it should have been, and,
right.
yeah, it's just hard to get past those things sometimes.
Yeah,
It's like, "Okay, yeah, you made it better now, but only because we forced it," and,
right.
yeah. Yeah, it
But a
was
lot of a lot of people said that they had to be a certain weight
yeah.
in their contract, and that I never had that. So I didn't.
Well, I
I
think
think it was
there
different
was
for
a clause
everyone.
yeah, there was a clause in everybody's when I was on the show that it said you couldn't fluctuate by 5 or 10 pounds either way. They didn't want you losing to be they wanted everybody at a healthy weight. So they didn't want anybody I honestly think that it was more about losing the weight because they didn't want because eating disorder was a running theme with them and they were always so worried about it. And they had my character play out a little bit of an eating disorder thing. It was an arc. It only lasted one episode, I think. Suddenly Summer was cured, but so they wanted to address they didn't want any of the actresses like losing too much weight either. So
Right.
I wasn't mad at that clause because I get it. You can't gain too much and you can't lose too much and they want everybody healthy. So that part it's not like you ever
That's
a
refreshing
scale.
to hear.
You never like
Yeah.
weighed it. Yeah, no, it wasn't
No.
or anything. Um,
Yeah.
no. And they definitely fed us
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah, craft service and some of those meals were incredible.
yeah.
And I look back and I'm wondering, I mean, I didn't eat a lot, and I'm thinking probably nerves or just, I had a new baby. There was a lot going on in that time frame. So and also too in the back of my mind, I always knew that I'm wearing a suit. Um, there was a sense of obligation I felt without anyone telling me anything, to be in shape or to do the best I could to show up to work looking like a fit lifeguard. Um, you know, so keeping that character and just being, not letting myself go and, gain 30 pounds.
Right.
I
Yeah, it's definitely
never,
a pressure we put on ourselves as well, yes.
yeah, I think that was it more than us being told to look a certain way or do something. I think it was just common sense. Really when it boils down to it, I think everything's common sense. Just, you know, look at the character. What are you playing? How should you look? It's just like playing, in a part in a movie, being an overweight attorney or having this certain, or you're playing somebody else. Like you have to do what you have to do. That's something I don't think I could do. Could you
What?
do that? Like
What?
just gain, like some of these actors, it's incredible. Like Matt Damon and some of these, it's who's it? Tom Hanks, like where they gain an enormous amount of weight for a role, and
Let's
then
face it, let's be honest here. It's much easier for men to lose weight. It's much easier for men to gain and lose weight than it is for women, especially at a certain age. Like that's
oh
you know, it's
yeah,
it's easier for them that their metabolism is different. They're set up different. But
hmm
back to your point, first of all, I don't have any issues gaining weight this time in my life, especially with all these steroids I'm constantly being put in my body during this treatment. Um, and I sit there and I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna like be able to lose weight because I was gonna say, well, now there's all this Wegovy and Ozempic and Monjoro.
oh yeah,
Easy to lose the weight, Gina.
oh
All
yeah,
you gotta do is
yeah.
give yourself a little jab
No,
and that weight
but
goes
then
away. So it
but then
makes it a little less difficult, a little less daunting.
yeah, but I wonder too though what the side effects of all of these drugs will be in 5 years.
Well,
It
it's
scares
interesting.
the crap out of me. Like I
They
would,
are known to cause I believe it's thyroid cancer. So they keep an eye on.
Yeah, and I have the whole thyroid thing going on. So I would just be like,
Yeah, I don't
it's
have had issues with my thyroid. So yeah, no, thank you. And now,
no,
especially after everything I've been through, I don't think I wouldn't dare put anything. I'd be very conscious about what I put in my body
yeah,
going
yeah,
forward, like stuff like that. Which is a
yeah,
bummer because I sit there having FOMO of all these people that are on it and looking and feeling amazing, and I won't be able to do that. But you know, it is what it is.
yeah. Just I think it's just old school. I think it's, it's harder for us to lose weight. There's
Yeah.
times where, I mean, I had to do a photo shoot a week ago, not even a week ago, and I felt like, because
Oh,
it's
you look
just that but
fabulous.
it's the age though. It's like there's certain parts where it's like the belly. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like, okay, let's cover it up somehow, twisting and turning and, just, normal estrogen,
Yeah.
hormones, all of this stuff, and I'm reluctant to take that. That's another thing
I know.
because you hear all of this stuff, and I'm just like, What do I do? What do I take?" And there's a lot of doctors that are pro HRT, and then there's others that are just be careful.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm not messing with any of it. I'll tell you, when you are diagnosed with cancer, the questions that pop up that you're asked over and over again, which, really made me put my thinking cap on is, have you ever
yeah,
done hormone replacement? And how many vaccinations did you have? Which kind and where? And,
did
I
did
see a lot of people popping up in my in the comments on some of my posts and stuff, and they say fast track cancer, that you can think getting the jab for that. Now, for me, I know that is not true because I luckily was able to work for an inside company that can track my cancer back to 2021. So it's before I ever had any vaccination. So that's not a thing for me.
okay,
But they did ask, and luckily for me, I had one vaccination because I had to work and you had to have it,
yeah,
and so I did it.
yeah, you
Um,
couldn't go anywhere.
yeah. But the hormone, they ask every single time, "Have you ever had hormone
Mhm.
therapy?" And yes, in fact, I did because
You
my
did.
hormones went crazy after having. Yes, because when I was 40 when I had Keegan, and then I was working out really hard, and I had a trainer, and even the trainer was like, "Okay, there's something else off here. This isn't calorie versus, this isn't a diet exercise thing. There's something else going on." So I went and saw a specialist. It was my thyroid. It was a lot of things. They ran my panel and they're like, "Oh yeah." But that's,
Mhm.
these things can happen when you have a baby. Luckily, it wasn't preeclampsia or, there was
Right.
nothing that happened during the pregnancy. Luckily, it was just something my body reacted after, which I'll take all
Mhm.
day long,
Mm.
post pregnancy. Um, but I ended up getting most of that balanced and figured out and everything. But so with menopause coming, everything, that I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to ride the wave.
So when did you start the HRT? Like in your 40s?
Um, I was about 40, 41, 42 when I did it, but I didn't do it
Okay.
for too long. It didn't take too long to get me back to feeling normal and
Yeah.
looking more normal. So I didn't do it for very long. I would say maybe a year tops
Yeah.
that I was doing any hormone therapy. But yeah, it really makes you think. And now I'll just never put anything. I'll
Right.
never do any of it.
No.
It's too risky.
No, I do feel crazy though. Can't you tell? I'm holding it all back, trying to remain normal. But I'm not. Uh, yeah, so I'm refraining from like I'm looking at Costco and all these places and it's like something, it's estrogen. And it's a natural, it's not estrogen. It's a
Okay.
natural plant based. But because I was just hot flashing and this and that and just feeling more importantly, I mean, the hot flashes, that's not a big deal for me. But the moodiness, and just the ups and the downs, and then crying and then laughing, and it's like you're on a merry-go-round that it doesn't stop. So I can see why people would break down and just go, you know what, I need a little of this, or testosterone, or whatever it is.
And it works.
So,
I mean, the thing is that it does
yeah.
get you through it. What the side effects are, that's something you have to decide if that's worth it or not. I know it'll be interesting because I'll have to go on estrogen blockers for 5 years when I'm all said and done with treatment, because my cancer is estrogen driven.
So that would be a spirulactin, right?
I think so.
That's an estrogen blocker. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that is what it is. I'm still trying to remember the meds I'm on now. Trying to learn as we go along here. I'm like, oh my God, I have terrible memory when it comes to names of things. So I'm like, I haven't crossed that bridge yet, so I'm not sure what my options are. But so that will be very interesting. This will be very interesting.
And did you ever do pellets?
Huh?
Did you ever do the pellets when you were going through your, where they
pellets,
put the little pellets that they put in your your hip? You never did that? Okay.
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, they're like hormone pellets. There's ways you can do it. You can do a patch, you can do cream, you can do oral, you can do pellets. And the pellets, they last for 3 months. So if they get it wrong, oh my God.
Oh God. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Fun. It's so
Dave,
fun
we won't.
Well, Dave, you are missing out.
You talk, Dave.
What's
going on
nothing
in your
going
world?
on. I take one allergy pill in the morning just so I don't sneeze when I take a walk. That's about it.
Yeah.
I'm lucking out. I feel like I'm stealing. I think that's about it. I don't know. Yeah. It's night and day for me. I know when Nicole was saying just how it's different for men and women to lose weight. I see it all the time with my friends and their wives, and they'll both start a diet together, and that guy drops 20 pounds in a month, and she's lost 2 pounds and wants to strangle him. Yeah. Yeah, she's right.
No, it's crazy. I think, and even my daughter, she just is like, wow, because I had her late in life, so I'm like teaching her every little thing as I go, and she sees it and she asks, well, what is, why are you acting like that? What are you doing for that, or what can you do for that? And it's interesting that she's starting to kind of pick up on things, because I had her, at 37. So I'm going to be an old lady before I see a grandbaby.
Oh,
and my son, who's 27, he doesn't want children. And
neither does mine. This generation, they don't drive, they don't want kids, and I can't say I blame them.
No, it's Uber this, Uber that. Or,
I cannot say I blame them for 1 second to not want to bring children into this mad world that we are creating and living in. I can't say I blame them. So as much as I would love to be a grandmother, I just don't. I'm not holding.
Not for the wrong reasons.
Not for the wrong reasons. No, if she doesn't want it, then I want her to be happy. But she's pretty content to not have any children, and I'm just hearing that a lot. So it's funny to hear that Spencer doesn't want children either.
Yeah, and I think that it's for him and his girlfriend. I think it's the right decision. Just not a lot of maternal sort of paternal instincts there. Like it's just everything is about them. And which is fine, because they're single, or they're not single, but they're childless. They have their own place. They're living their life. They're traveling, working, and building a life together. But yeah, it was different. It was different for us. Like I couldn't wait to be a mom.
Yeah,
I'm still like, I can't take that she's getting her license, or her permit, because it's like I have to hover. I am a hovering mother.
Yeah.
I think you are too, Nicole.
A bit.
Yeah, you're
a bit. I mean, I definitely have a tight rein. Yeah, it's a very protected.
The rein is tight.
Well, here's the thing. We have this deal is if you're good and you're a good human, I give you a lot of freedom. But if you're not, you don't you're not going to see outside.
No,
You're
you're
not
not
going
going to do
outside.
squat turkey.
Yeah,
And they're
you know,
picking up my sayings. Like I'll hear them like, "Oh, you're a day late and $1 short." I'm like, "Oh my God, my kids are
rubbing
talking
off.
like me.
Yeah.
Dollars to donuts," you know. So it's a different generation, but I hope to see a grandbaby at some point in my life.
I
We
know, me
will.
too. But also they're very young.
So,
I feel like 26, 27 still is very young in this day and
yes,
age. And I do encourage going and doing all the traveling and
yes.
doing the self work and being a bit selfish. And I do believe in that. So
Mhm.
they've still got a lot of time ahead of them to change
Oh,
their
yeah.
minds, or if you think about how much you've changed since you were 26, 27.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
not even close to the same person. So
No, not at all.
yeah.
So, yeah, you have to kinda let things happen, and I've let it go. I'm like, I'm not gonna ask again because they are young. I mean, people are having, they're getting their career set, they're, buying a house or, whatever. They're getting their lives together,
Yeah.
and it's gonna happen. And people are having babies late in life. Like when I had Stella at 37, at the time that I had her at that age, that wasn't the norm. It was
Right.
younger. But now that is the norm. So
Well, let's face it, getting
who
a
knows?
house and getting financially stable is not what it used to be. You can not
Not
this whole
easy.
starter house thing, that dream is gone. The American dream of the car and the house and all of that being just a given, that those days are over.
Yeah.
I just don't even understand how anybody does it anymore. It's
Or how anyone could even buy a house at this
that
point, like a young couple with the interest
yeah.
rate. I mean, it's everything. It's just so expensive.
And
Um,
so many kids fall into all the college debt, so their life is starting with debt,
yeah,
and that's such a majority of the kids, and it's just the young people, should I say? And I just don't know how you crawl out of that. I just don't.
yeah.
Uh, with the interest rates the way they are, the housing market at the cost that it's at, and then you have all this student loan debt. I mean,
More people are renting now.
yeah,
I mean, people in the industry, people I've talked to, I'm just like, and you assume that they have that Hollywood Hills house and the whole thing. They're renting,
yeah,
like, and
yeah,
in a decent, it's not overpriced. It was like pretty, normal, rate, I guess, for what she got. But it's people aren't buying; they're waiting, and I think it was a little bit surprising to me. But back
the
in our
interest
day,
rates are
we made
insane.
our money, or we saved our money and made some good investments at that time. That's when you could buy, 5 rental properties, and it was
Yeah,
it was doable. It was doable at that time. But
yeah.
it's so sad. It's really hard for them to get their footing and live a stress-free life,
Yeah.
where they can just find that balance.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
And luckily, like my daughter doesn't have the student debt. She got it, she got into all the colleges that were on her top of the list and chose not to. And, they're moving next month into a brand new place. Um, their their monthly payment is more than mine. And
yeah,
they're
it's
doing
hard.
it because they don't have her and her partner. He didn't get the student debt either. And they're both thriving in their work, and they don't have to pay that. So they have extra money and
Mhm.
they're living well. I mean,
Yeah, so is
I'm like,
mine.
"You're
I'm
what?"
like,
They sent me
"You're
the
getting
video. I'm
paid
like,
what? When are you
"Yeah.
getting paid?" Like, it's just I'm like, the
Yep.
media and all of this stuff, and Spencer's very talented in that, like, with doing videos or doing this and that with, I mean, whether it be rappers or whether it be for, industrial type things, and yeah, it's incredible, like drone shots and this and that, and they pay a ton for that
Yeah.
type of, if you're good at it, you're gonna get paid. Um, so yeah, it's interesting where they rent and they have a great life, and then they
Yeah.
can go to Japan or go to wherever they want to go, and
Yeah, I
Life
love
is
it.
definitely different for those youngins.
Power to
We
them,
were,
living their best life. I
yes,
love it
yeah.
for it. That's for
And
sure.
Dave, your son is 30, right?
I have my oldest son's 30 years old. Yep. And doing the marriage thing this year. And I'm very, very excited. And
Oh,
I hate to say it, I've already put pressure on him for that grandkid. I'm one of those where, I can't wait kind of a deal. And so,
yeah.
uh, in my family, Gina, not to bring the show down, but a few years
No.
ago, I lost my youngest son. And when my youngest son passed, it just feels like there's just such a huge hole in our family that I'm hoping when we do have a grandchild, whether a boy or girl, whatever, it's one of those that kind of helps fill that hole a little bit. So I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it for selfish reasons, but at the same time,
Dave, do you
yeah.
have
Yeah.
a grandpa name picked out for yourself?
Um, it's I'm a big
Papa.
baseball guy. So I was a Big
Oh, you are.
Poppy is always what I said I wanted to go by, but I'll take anything,
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything as long as. But I already know I'm gonna spoil that kid. Like I'll be the
Oh my
grandfather that
God.
whether every time I see you, whether it's a toy or a ring, popsicle or a candy necklace or whatever, that every time that kid sees me, that kid's gonna be spoiled. But I can't wait. I
You
Yeah.
know
can't wait.
what's great about it is grandparents just swoop in and just feed him a bunch of sugar and this and that, and oh, we went here, and
Yeah,
grandma's great. Oh, we're gonna, and then they
100%.
drop them off, and they're gone,
That's
long
no,
gone.
that's it. We'll be doing the ice cream thing. You name it. Where do you want to go? We'll be doing all that, all the stuff that I didn't do with my own kids. That
Yeah,
no, but I am looking forward to that.
yeah,
That's one of those things. So, yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
it's interesting. I did just the opposite of you, Gina. Though I had my first son at 22 and my second son at 27, and then we were done. We did everything the hard way. As listening, both of you talk about real estate and houses and education, where I had the 5 things that you want to do. You want to find the person you're gonna marry, the career that you want. You want to buy a house. You know, basically everything set up in an order, but I did the order the hard way. I got
Yeah,
engaged at 19. I did everything backwards, but I wouldn't
yeah,
change a thing. Overall, it's everyone's journey, as Nicole was saying at the beginning of the show, and wouldn't change a thing. And when things are tough, those become great memories when you beat it. But right now, I just can't get over the price of homes. I mean, we're
oh,
in Southern California, and you mentioned
forget
the
it.
interest rate, and I always think back to this because we're all close to the same age. Is if somebody told you when you were 12 years old, hey, here's the deal, I can see the future, you're going to be a millionaire. The first thing in your head, you're thinking mansion, you're thinking Ferrari, you're thinking all
Yeah,
this crazy, what a millionaire means.
yeah,
Well, guess what? If you own any property in California, technically you're already a millionaire. The thing
yeah,
is,
right,
everyone around you is a millionaire too, and it's not the same, right? It's all balanced
right,
out to it. It feels like even though everybody might be, money wise, what you think is a lot of money is doing better. Really, all of us feel like we're all kind of like, as Nicole said, there's a lot of debt for any kid that's trying to move on to. I encouraged my son to move out of the state just to buy property somewhere else, just
yeah,
to start a life. And as Nicole's going through her struggles and your kids are thriving and you have one that's about to start driving, you want to be close to the people you love the most. But I'm literally sending, the person that's closest to me in life 2,000 miles away just to have a normal life. It feels like we're losing even though we're trying to win.
yeah.
It's a little frustrating and it's a little sad
Yeah.
at the same time.
Where
You
are
know,
you
Would
shipping
you
them
ever
off
move out
to?
there, Dave? Would you ever move back to
when
Nashville?
I moved back to Nashville, it's funny you say that. So before the show, we were just talking about it. I said I'm taking a trip to visit my son in Nashville, Tennessee, and my sister and my mother live back there already. And when
Oh,
I'm back
wow.
there, I'm gonna be looking at houses for 5 days. So we'll see if I'm coming back to Southern California or what I'm doing. I would like to, as I'm talking to two parents, I don't think it's a good idea for him to get married and then have his father and mother live, in the same city as him. Like I feel like they need to get their feet underneath them too. Just like you explained, Nicole, with your daughter, that hey, she's thriving and happy where she's at. I don't
Right.
want them to look over their shoulder going, hey, my parents are, here too. Like, they have to
Yeah.
establish their marriage. I don't want to feel like I'm in their way. They need to
Well,
find the strength in their
I
marriage.
bet I
mine is
don't
always
see you
trying to
doing
convince me
that
to move out there.
To move to New
to
York.
New York.
Well, she's like, well, you could go to Florida. You'd be so much closer. I'm just like,
You aren't a Florida person.
alligators and there's a big spider.
Yeah, believe me, I shot that TV series in Orlando.
Is that Sheena? Did you shoot Sheena in Orlando? Yeah.
But
It's
the
different.
odd visit from Doug Schwartz, as he would just saunter in for a day or two and go, I don't know how you're doing this. And then
Go
see
back.
ya.
Back to Southern California.
I'm like,
outta here.
oh.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Hey,
Gena, thank
Gena,
you so much. Oh, sorry. What were you going to
I'm
say?
sorry. I have one quick question for Gena, just because I'm
yeah.
curious. Is how did you end up on The Price is Right? Like, how did that whole thing come about? Because people like me, and I said again, you know, we're all close to the same age. When we got that sick day before cable, man, we're all watching The Price is Right on that sick
Oh,
day.
everyone.
And
Growing
I
up, when we were
remember
sick.
being a kid going, who are these girls in the background that everyone seems
Yeah.
to act like they aren't there? Like, there's not the prettiest girl in the world right there on TV, and we're going to act like they're right there, you know, like the
Yeah.
way the show would go. And, you know,
Yeah.
we'd come to school the next day, dude, I was sick yesterday, and you wouldn't believe these girls that are on TV. That's the way the guys used to talk. How did you
Sure.
get on Price is Right? And would you say overall, it sounds like you said it was a good experience.
It was great. It was a great experience. So I saw an ad, and this is when we would read the paper. And I held down 3 jobs. I came out to LA to go to school. I was at Santa Monica Community College, and 3 jobs: cocktailing, waitress, and I worked at the Broadway Southwest. I don't know if you remember that, in the Beverly Center.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I read this thing that they were auditioning girls, and I called, and they're like, "We're done. Like, I think we got our girls." And then one said, "You know what? You have 5 minutes to get here." And I'm like, "Get where?" They said, "Bring a swimsuit," because all the producers were going to go golfing, and they just said, "Get down here." And it was by the where the
Building.
offices were
Yeah.
on
on
Wilshire. So I book it. I mean, I probably look like hell looking back. But I threw on this bathing suit. I was 22 years old. And they said, "Okay, show the desk." I'm like, "Show the desk. All right. All right. This is beautiful. Is this Hooker? Hooker furniture? Was it? Oh, it's so solid." Had no clue. But Barker liked what he saw in the audition and had called me back for 3 consecutive days of shooting, which is 6 shows, to kind of screen, test me. And I got the part. I mean, it was 12 days. It was a long 12 days that I waited, but they said, and there was thousands of girls who had already tried out. But there was just, it's that energy, when you like somebody, you feel like they're pure, they're honest, they're young, they're green.
Yeah.
We like her. Like, she doesn't want it for the wrong reasons. I'm not going to sleep with anybody. None of that's going to happen. So if you want me, I'll show Tupperware. And I got the part, and it was the best job. Like, it was these Holly Hallstrom, and you're going to know this, Dave, because Diane Parkinson left the show, so I was filling her part.
Okay.
Kathleen Bradley, Janice Pennington. I mean, it was just like, the girls I grew up watching.
Yeah.
It was, and they welcomed me with open arms. And then when I got Baywatch, I said, "Okay, girls, like, what name?" They're asking what name for the titles, the title credits. I go, "I don't really get that, but should I do Gena Nolin or Gena Lee Nolin?" And Holly's like, "Girl, you got to go Gena Lee Nolin." And I'm like, gosh, it's kind of a tongue twister and it's long, but yeah, you're right. Throw it all in there. But that's how they embraced me. They really protected me.
Love it.
Yeah. So Barker went off to do Happy Gilmore, and I remember just all these little, and then I went off to do Baywatch. So it was a great first job in Hollywood.
That is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
that
how
is
that
cool,
happened.
especially when women weren't really in those days they were more competing against each other. And
Yes,
that is a scenario where it was kind of out ageism, the aging out. They were, weaning older women off and bringing in the fresh young women. So
right.
it's really great to hear that everybody was so uplifting and supportive. That's amazing because that was rare
Yeah,
back then.
it was. And mind you, I'd never been in the business. So I didn't know what to expect. I expected that, but I knew my place. I think that's the most important thing is that when you walk into a job and you are green and you don't know what the hell you're doing, just shut up and watch and learn and know your place. Don't act like you're the hot shot. Don't act like you deserve this or that or the other because you don't. You're learning. And
Yeah.
they knew that. They picked up on that. And then that's when they said, "Okay, we're going to embrace you, kid." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yes."
That's
So,
important. That is an
yeah, stay
important
humble.
message. Yeah, that
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Not the entitlement part, you gotta leave that out of it because you see a lot of that in younger people, but it's,
Yeah.
in the millennial era. I
It's
get it, why they make
way
fun of
too,
way too
yeah.
entitled and lazy, and there's a lot going on there that I'm like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Yeah.
But I see the younger kids being hungrier and more grateful, so yeah, but
Yeah.
good words of wisdom there.
Yeah. Yeah. Be prepared, work hard. And the kids
Earn it.
now are like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
I'm
Now you
like,
gotta
"Can you
earn
take out the trash? Can you take out
Yeah.
that recycle bin?"
Not in my
"I
contract.
don't want to. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I was up FaceTiming." I'm like, "Get your ass up out of bed, put some flip-flops on, and take the damn trash out lickety split, or there's gonna be hell to be had." And that's I just because I can't get over this. I mean, I do laundry, I take care of everything, but I mean, there's some things that these kids, they've
Oh, you
gotta
have
do.
to. You have to. You have to do chores. Yeah,
Yes.
otherwise, they'll never be able to take care of themselves. It'll be
No.
yeah, no. I'm a big chore pusher,
So,
so. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us and gracing us with your beauty and your words of wisdom, and, you will get to see a lot more of Gena in the documentary, which, I believe it's coming out in August, guys. Been a long
I
time, but
know.
I think August is gonna be it. Fingers crossed.
I'm excited.
So yes. Well, we love you and thank you.
Oh, I love you so much, and I'm sending you good vibes all the time. I think about you more than you would ever know.
Oh, I
You're always on
appreciate
my
that.
mind, and I'll throw you a text every once in a while,
Yeah,
and
you
I
do.
and I pulled you aside, and I'm like, I genuinely mean it. Like, I'm not
Yeah,
just
no,
throwing,
I know, and
you
I
know
appreciate that. I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're
Thank you
welcome.
for that
Yeah.
because it does mean a lot too. It does. It means a lot more than
Yeah.
people realize it does. So, mwah.
Dave, give me your number and I'll give you some positivity.
Oh, you kidding me? It would be a dream come true. Call all my high school friends and tell them.
Oh boy. Well,
Gena,
thank you
pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, pleasure too. Thanks for having me.
Have a
Take
great
care.
day.
You too.
Bye.
Oh, shoot. I think I cut her off a little fast. I'm sorry about that. That
Oh.
was cool. She was absolutely great.
Yeah,
Very, very
she's
nice. Very, very
good
nice.
people.
I don't know what it is, but because I know I take so much pride in being a parent and you do too. I love when we have someone like that on who feels the same way. I
Yeah.
mean, we invest everything we can into being a parent, and when you see someone that not only successful, what the public knows from a camera, to see what they're like in person, I was get a thrill out of it. What a good person. I'm glad you two are friends.
Yeah. No, it's important, and you know what? At this time in my life, I don't have time for people that aren't like uplifting me or serving a purpose or, that I admire. There's not enough time in the day anymore. But so she's
No.
great. Yeah.
She is. She's absolutely great. That was a lot of fun. It was a pleasure to meet Gena. For me, at least, it was. Hey,
Yeah.
let's get to your mailbag. I know the show is
Yeah,
kind of running a little long, but I do always want to get to the people that are nice enough to write in and ask you questions. Again, if you have a question for Nicole, all you have to do is you go to the website perfectlytwistedpod.com. Nicole's mailbag is right there at the top of the screen, and we'll get your question. And we have 5 today from Alex. Okay.
All right,
It
Alex.
says,
Let's go.
So first one is Nicole, if you had a chance to direct, what would be your perfect project?
Wow. I think that I would lean towards comedy. I feel like they always talk about acting in beats, like half a beat, give it a beat. It's a timing thing, and either you hear it or you don't. And it's like the only thing in my bones that I feel like it's the only talent. It's the only talent I have is that I know what it means with a beat, and I can hit a beat in acting, not in music, not in drums, not in anything like that, only with acting. So I feel like since I can hear those beats and I do understand those beats, that's where I would go, because that's super important in comedy. And so I think so. It's funny because we were just in the recording studio with Debbie Gibson and Scott Grimes, who are both my childhood
Yeah.
friends, and I've asked them to come and do the Baywatch theme song. And me and Matt, the executive, we're looking at each other. It's just like the voice, and it's just like I walk out of there just feeling so like so dead inside. I'm like, I got nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that is the one thing I do know is beats in acting. So, I'm gonna go with the comedy,
I like it.
and I like to laugh all
Okay.
day. So, let's
Yeah,
go.
absolutely. It's the second question. Nicole, what is your favorite and least favorite Real Housewives show?
Um, well, my favorite is always gonna be Beverly Hills, I think. I guess that's really hard because it also depends on the season. I mean,
Exactly.
it used to be that OC and Beverly Hills were my go-to, but as we go along here in life and they add more places, it depends on seasons. So like I would say my least favorite were probably ones that aren't there anymore. I do also love Potomac, but you know which one I realized kind of was giving me anxiety was the first season of Dubai. I'm gonna
Okay.
have to say that maybe that was my least favorite, but now I'm like really interested in the new season. So, again, it goes season by season, but something about the Dubai made me feel uncomfortable at first when I was watching it. But I think by season 2, I'm warming up to it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I always say my favorite's always like the next one because I can't wait whenever hear new seasons coming out of something.
Yeah.
But I think I'm with you. For me, I think it's always Orange County and Beverly Hills are my favorites because that's closest to where we live, and we know people that live in those areas. And then the one that I always wish was better, I find myself every single season watching it. I know it's highly rated. It's Housewives of New York. I always like going, this show
Yeah.
should be better. I don't know why I feel like that show lets me down every season I watch it, but I
Yeah.
know it does well, but it irritates me that it's not a better show.
I second that, especially with like replacing it all, right? They did
Yeah,
recast the whole thing and it was like womp womp.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
There's
with
not
you on that one. Good call.
Yeah, there's no energy. All right, here we go. Nicole, if you were offered a chance, would you say yes to being on a Bravo reality show?
Oh, that that would really have to be I would have to know the context of that. Would I want to be a housewife? I think people don't realize what comes along with that. Because when you're putting your life out there like that, it comes with a lot of ridicule. And quite honestly, that's something harder to deal with than I think the general public understands. The online, and you have to be online because you're part of um, this generation of TV making. So it goes hand in hand, and just how critical and the keyboard warriors that are out there and how they really can tear someone down. And I think it takes a mental health toll that people are unaware of. And so I don't know that that's my ideal place to be.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, that's a big commitment. That's a lot
Yeah,
you're giving up.
that's opening yourself up to here, let me have it. Come hate
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
And that's a lot. That's a big undertaking.
It is. All right, says Nicole, I love that you take great pride in being a mom. How do you describe your perfect weekend?
How do I describe what?
How would you describe your perfect weekend? I guess that's assuming you'd spend it with your children.
Perfect weekend. Really, for me, it's about just the time and the energy and just being together. The beach is always a good day for us. Even like just running errands, just talking, just the conversation, going out for walks, mellow and just really hearing what's going on in their little heads. I think that's what brings me the most joy.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Nicole, last question. After you beat cancer and you feel 100% healthy, what's the first thing on your list of things to do?
I am currently looking at package trips to Thailand.
Yeah, good. You've talked about Thailand for a while. I'm glad you're saying that.
Yeah. And I'm just in that mindset of like, if you want it bad enough, you can make it happen. So right now researching what's the best months to go, what's the best prices, this, that, weighing it. And it's a lot. It's a lot of work, but that's what I'm doing to distract myself. And I really want to make that happen because my oldest daughter and I have been talking about going there since she was little. And then I had Keegan, and that sort of put that on hold because it's like, who's going to carry her around Thailand? You're not going to push a stroller around.
Exactly.
So it kind of put a lot of things on pause. And now she's obviously more than capable. So I think it would be the trip of a lifetime. And I would love to not only see Asia myself, but to be able to provide that for them and give them that because, it's no easy task getting over there from here.
Absolutely.
It's making me realize, what? Europe was the place. I wish my parents had moved back to Europe and raised me there.
Really?
Like that's the place you can get around. So you just get to see so much of the world when you live on that side. It feels like, and everyone's like, oh, there's so much to see in America. Nah, no. I like all the different culture. I want to be over there. So the other thing about that is I might not come back, but I'm going to go.
Alex, I really appreciate of course, the questions. Again, perfectlytwistedpod.com. It's right there, the mailbag at the top of the screen, and get your questions in. But I enjoyed all those. Again, I love the fact you're looking forward to Thailand. You've been speaking about it for a while, so I'm glad you didn't hesitate. You knew exactly what you were going to do as soon as the things are going in the right direction.
I never really like celebrate me, so I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out, find a way, and yeah, we're going to go have a celebration.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. Good deal. Well, I know you said it was a tough start to the week, but I hope you feel better the rest of the week, and everything you're getting good rest and everything goes the right direction.
Well, thanks. We'll see. We'll see how this goes, but just staying positive. I'll get through it. I can get through it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. That was a lot of fun. Gena, was a lot of fun. The whole thing was a good day. For me, I really enjoyed the conversation.
Good. Yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed it too. And thanks for joining us. And we will see you next week.